Check 1, 2. Yes. It's the CastOffs podcast, season 2.
Season 2.
It's your boy Biz, and I am here again with. Oh my goodness, how you doing, bro?
I'm really well, thank you. Really well. How are we?
How's the back?
Yes, the back. Do you know what? It's getting better.
Is it?
It's getting better, and I'm glad that that we're here with
Sarah?
Someone with Sarah that can. Probably help me with my back.
Okay, and that picture looked foul.
Yeah.
Scary.
Let that be a warning to all.
How long did the ambulance have to take to get to you?
I ended up going in the back of my missus's car.
You didn't get there on time?
Yeah, no, there was no time for ambulance.
There's not enough ambulances out there.
There's
all too
no
busy.
time for ambulance.
And his back wasn't important.
It wasn't important.
Yeah, exactly.
And keeping on with the theme that we wanted to do for season 2, which is trying to get a lot of health-related episodes in here about how to keep your body healthy, maintaining it, keeping that MOT ticking as well for your body. We have got Sarah, who does Pilates in the room. Hi, Sarah. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm there. I'm all right.
Hold on, we've got Sarah in the building.
Yay! With the applause. Like I said, Sarah is. Should we call you an expert? Should we call you a Zen-like figure?
Guru.
Guru?
Yeah.
Oh, Gruet?
Yeah.
That should be a word, isn't
That
it?
sounds like something from a film with the little minion things.
Despicable Me?
Yeah.
Gru.
I was thinking more like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, all that, thank you.
She is she's better than us anyway. She's an expert voice in regards to Pilates. She runs her own Pilates business and has got a studio, and she's been in it for years. She'll tell us how long she's been doing it. She's gonna tell us as well what got her into it, why, the advantages of it, and why we should do it, especially for us men as well. We said us men, we don't do little stretches. We just want to get that kettlebell. Get that 250 kg deadlift. Right. We're done. Straight into it.
No water.
And this is why men die early. Full stop. So we want to try and reverse that a bit. But it's for everyone anyway. So Sarah, thanks for coming in. And just tell us a bit about yourself and also about obviously what you do in regards to Pilates and maintaining a healthy lifestyle. I mean, I look at you, you're 90, sorry. She doesn't look it, she's not. But because she maintains a healthy lifestyle and she looks good for being 20. So there you go. Just tell us a bit about yourself.
So I'm obviously Sarah. You've said my name a few times. I own a Pilates studio called Hiit Pilates, and I started that 4 years ago. So before in January.
Wow. Happy birthday in advance, Hiit Pilates.
And I keep pinching myself like I've managed to run a business for 4 years.
So you started that just before the pandemic.
Yeah, exactly. So I had like 1 year of running a business, and obviously they always say like your first year of running a business is like, and it did okay. I came out of working for JP Morgan. Am I allowed to say banks?
Oh, of course. Yeah. Big up JP Morgan.
And I was not. I was not. I was like a rabbit in headlights in that place. It just wasn't for me.
You're just not happy.
I'm more of a creative person anyway, so I struggled in that corporate world. I wasn't comfortable there. But I started the business really quite nervous. I'd not long trained anyway, so I felt a little bit like, imposter syndrome. But I knew that I just desperately wanted to do something that was just for me, and also create a lifestyle. Like I wanted to have a life where I didn't really feel like I wanted to run away from it. I wanted to wake up every morning
and just look forward to it.
I'm like, I love what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Let's go. That
was really the catalyst for me, I think. We had the first year was fine. It kind of skipped along, and then obviously the pandemic hit, and I kind of got to a point where I was teaching so much, I was a little bit like, actually I can have a breather here. I might get a few weeks off. And obviously the weather was really nice. Yeah. Everyone was going for nice walks, and it was I think a lot of people were kind of like, and when we were allowed to have a break without feeling guilty.
Yeah.
So that was actually quite nice. But then going back into it, I didn't take any of my other instructors that I had already working for me back on, because I was worried about how much money I needed to catch up on. And luckily for me, because I had a premises, I got some of the grants from the government to keep the business running. But some of my friends who are instructors and work for themselves and didn't have that.
Get that.
No, and they really, obviously it was tax
Yeah,
you know,
correct me if I'm wrong. I thought, and I'm wrong now, 'cause I thought you had to have the premises for at least 2-3 years to qualify for the grant. You only had yours for a year, but you still got it.
That's
good.
I was just over a year, I think, because I took the premises on in the October
Oh, so you were lucky.
of 2018, I think. Yeah.
So it's just a year and a half, give or take. So you were lucky.
So just over. Yeah, I know.
lucky.
Someone was looking down on me.
That's right. That's right.
I think I was really lucky. I would never have been able to keep the business running.
Yeah.
You know, I'd never have been able to afford it. I mean, a lot of my friends that were our instructors did a lot of stuff online.
I was going to ask you that.
And I could have done that. The stuff that I did do, I worked with other gyms and I did free stuff. So I would just do they would do little boot camps.
Yeah.
And even though I do teach that sort of stuff as well, but I would just do the Pilates thing once or twice a week. Just to give them a different sort of dimension to their training, really. But I didn't sort of take on any private clients and charge, because I just felt like a lot of people were giving away free stuff at that point as well. So I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to try take the downtime while I can.
Yeah.
And also not just that, I had children at home, so I obviously had to homeschool as well.
Exactly.
So it was like, shoot me now. That was the worst part. I mean, as lovely as it is to have the kids, you're like trying to homeschool. You're like, no, and the kids don't want to. So in the end, I was like, everyone's going to be in the same situation. Yeah. Just let them chill a little bit. So I wasn't on them like
you found admiration for teachers.
Yeah. But also I just thought, actually kids are super bright and they'll catch up. I don't really feel like I'm not gonna wreck my relationship with my kids.
From calling you mum to miss.
So
teaching
I just think actually give them a bit of a break as well.
Yeah.
You know? Everyone got a little break, didn't they?
Well, I think with most people, I think we all thought the break wouldn't go that long, because it kind of.
No one ever. You couldn't have predicted.
We thought 3 months, 3 months tops, we'd be right.
You could not have predicted it, could you? I mean, it was like being in a movie. I was like, what's going on now? I actually gave up watching the news after.
It was insane.
I was in one of the industries that could work through it. I was in classes construction, so I worked all the way.
Essential worker, innit? Let's give you an applause there. Essential worker. There you go. I
bet you were
just cussing everybody out. Why are you at home and I'm going to work?
Yeah, damn you all.
There were some days, but it needed to be done.
Yeah.
It's crazy because you spoke about the online thing and you not wanting to charge, but you're kind of active with that as well. Yeah. A bit, but it wasn't really what you signed up for in terms of, I've got a studio, I want to do this and obviously empower people with their health in the studio. It's never, but
it's a personal thing, I think. Like when you being actually with people, and it's not just they're coming for a Pilates class, but I feel like you make the day better for them as well. You kind of have this social aspect, but also you make them feel better about themselves, and it's that interaction that's, I think, really important. But also there is a slight snobbery around Pilates, which I've kind of taken out, and my business.
Do tell.
My business is more, I would say, geared to sort of having fun with it a little bit as well. I mean, it's quite a serious fitness sort of. I think they're particularly like the old school Pilates, the classical Pilates are really strict about teaching one-to-ones and getting that form, and so it's really and the company that I trained with are very much like that. So I think they probably frown on me a little bit because I do that kind of more Aussie sort of group. Get the reformers together and get all the group. Because people love training together, they motivate each other, and I've kind of made it I've more attractive to the younger generation. Whereas I think that Pilates has always been, people think of old people doing it, don't they? Because it's like, it's for rehabilitation. Or they've got a really bad back, so they must do Pilates. And then you're there with 80-year-olds, so and so. But it's not. It's for everyone. It's and that's the beauty of it as well. I think you can have older people feel comfortable with the my younger clients, and our studio's like got a really nice community.
Yeah, it's got a nice vibe to it.
Everyone's really, really good friends, and they're all different age groups, and it's just really nice.
Which
kind of created a sub-discipline to what the Pilates was actually kind of.
Yeah, and we offer it all. So we definitely do. We still do the one-to-ones, and we do the rehabilitation. And then I still offer like a restorative class for people that want that slower, sort of more stretchy, more rehabilitation. But then we've got the fundamentals, which would be a bit more classical Pilates, and then I've got the dynamic reformer classes, which are much more like sort of like a boot camp on the reformer, and just makes it a little bit more, a bit more fast paced, and just a little bit more lively. Like, and it's to music, so you've got all the sort of like good soundtracks and that sort of thing. So people really enjoy that side of it, and it makes. I mean, I've got like a young crowd that come in and that really enjoy it. So.
Okay.
Well, I don't really know that much about Pilates, so I'm glad you're here.
Okay.
So, like in layman's terms, or a guide to the galaxy around Pilates.
Yeah.
What would it be in a condensed form?
So
someone like me can understand anything.
Yeah.
Basically.
So like we were saying, we were talking earlier, and I said like, so a lot of guys think it's just women.
Exactly.
It's originally called controlology.
Oh.
And it was invented by a guy called Joseph Pilates, and his father was a gymnast and his mother was a naturopath. Okay. I think he was a German chap, and he was in I think in the Isle of Man, some sort of camp during the war.
Yeah.
And he rehabilitated a lot of people, like a lot of the I think possibly the soldiers or the other people in the camp. But he was very much he was into weights. He was a bodybuilder, really. Okay. Yeah. Okay. But he'd suffered as a child, I think, with rickets, and had lots of other problems.
Like
vitamin
D.
Lots of other problems. So he learned how to rehabilitate from what his parents, I suppose, had taught him as well. Yeah. But he learned how to rehabilitate himself, and then started to build his own form of what he thought would be a good biomechanical sort of like what to rehabilitate bodies and make them stronger. So I think men always think, oh God, it's for girls, but actually this guy was a bodybuilder, and he was super strong, and it was just about making sure that all the body was functioning as it should function, and so it's quite interesting.
I've never been to a Pilates class.
You need to go.
You guys have to come in with
100%, especially with my back.
Yeah, and I think you'll enjoy the reformers. So I think the fact that, because my studio has those the reformers, and it just gives it that different element. So it's a bit more like resistance training. They've got springs for tension, so you can make it heavier.
Okay.
So what types of Pilates sessions do you have? I mean, you just mentioned the reformers. Do you have? I'm guessing that's the basic level 1.
So I mean I teach mat, so just on the floor, but not in my studio. We're about to open a second studio actually in the Haven Hotel.
Oh, big tip.
So that will be mat, yoga, bar, like meditation, stuff like that. Maybe little day retreats and things like that. And they've got the saltwater sauna around the corner, haven't they? So we can so we will be adding that. I didn't want to like cannibalise my business in Charminster by opening another reformer studio. So that's kind of just giving it that different aspect. And what was the question?
So what's a reformer?
So the reformer is so when Joseph Pilates was rehabilitating people, what he did is he adjusted the beds, and he used the beds, and he used the springs in the beds to help them basically sort of do different movements. So people that were bedbound, and that's sort of where say like you've got the Cadillac. The Cadillac looks like a four poster bed that people kind of hang off. It's all quite strange looking equipment, apparatus as they call it. But
some people might think it's something else.
I definitely think some people use that for those sorts of things. Not in my studio, but I hear these.
Hang tight.
That's so the reformers are there initially. actually, if you were needing rehabilitation, you'd probably be better off, and they would say that you would be better off starting on a reformer because you have the assistance of that machine.
All right.
So, like, you know, not necessarily. Sometimes putting a lighter spring on is going to make a workout harder because you're all having to use more effort. You're having to use more of your muscles.
Yeah.
Depending on the type of exercise that we're actually doing at that point, but yeah, they definitely help with rehabilitation. So anyone that's struggling like with movement and stuff like that, then we can chuck them on the reformer and hopefully get them moving.
I think you need a reformer, bro.
Yeah.
You're a reformer type person.
And it's genius, you know. People come in and they're like lying down on their backs and like, this is genius. I'm like lying down and I'm exercising and getting a little workout.
I just should have opened up with that. Should have opened up with I can lie down and exercise. I mean, what am I saying?
You need to hear about the spring bed bit.
Yeah.
There you go. So after the reformer stage, is there more of an advanced stage after that?
So the reformer, we have like a repertoire. So you will have your fundamentals or your essential repertoire that when we do our training, we have to follow. And the process of Pilates is that they layer. So they'll have a certain repertoire that you'll have to follow. Say you'll start with footwork, so your feet are on the foot bar, and your carriage is moving backwards and forwards. So you're strengthening through the legs, and then you'll probably move on to maybe like some ab work, core work. So where you get the hands in the straps, and you start to move and come up into your flexion and abs. And again, like with the springs, if you go heavier, then you're kind of going to get more tension in the shoulders and the arms. Where you go lighter, you're going to have to hold yourself much more. So you're going to have to start really using your core. Yeah. But and then there's like, you know, you can move on feet in straps and leg circles, that sort of thing. But what they tend to do is they like you. I mean, I don't always follow it this way. If I am rehabbing people, then I will follow to a degree. A repertoire, but I will look at their body and see what I think they need. But we like to work the body as a whole. Okay, but they layer, so they'll do those exercises and then add on each week maybe. But they want to see the improvement, so the person actually sees. Oh, look! I mean, I did this last week, but I'm doing it so much better this week.
I can actually see it. Yeah.
So that's kind of how the thinking behind Pilates works. Really.
Okay, so I follow you on Insta. I see the stuff you do on the. So what do you call those machines?
Then mine are Legro 2 reform, but they're Pilates reformers.
Well, right?
Yeah.
So when I'm watching the video again, this is from a man's point of view, because when we think about working out, strength of a blood, it has to be. But then. Yeah. When I watch what you do, it feels so relaxing. I could probably fall asleep just watching it. And so that's not slow motion, is it? That's in real time.
No, it is, yeah. And actually some of my other friends are like, actually one of my really good guy friends who lives in LA, and he was like, it's really slow.
I'm thinking, so what are we, because...
But it really, right, so this is the thing, right? I like to be doing something. I'm not really I've tried yoga. I like yoga, but it has to be a certain type of yoga. Like for me, the classes are too long and I lose interest. So I think maybe, you know, like I'm a little bit like ADHD or something. I don't know, but I'm definitely, I need something that's, so Pilates actually, I know it looks slow, but it's not as slow as it looks.
And that's what I was trying to get at, because...
But what it is, I think it's the concentration, because it's mind-body, it's about mind-body coordination. You have to focus so much on what you're doing, and it does look, and it is quite slow, but it makes it so much harder. It's what is it? Time under tension.
Yeah.
So you know, when you're weight training and stuff, and you're thinking like, okay, so I'm going to bring. It's about lengthening.
Yeah.
So you're lengthening and strengthening the muscle. So it's that you're taking it all the way out and you're bringing it all the way back.
So it's working it properly instead of just that. Yeah,
so exactly. I mean, like a lot of the people that do weights, I mean, not everyone, but some of them are just like there and they're just like it's about pumping that.
And
but you're this is taking the muscle exactly as it. So you are lengthening, strengthening, and obviously there's like that.
So that's
the flexibility aspect.
A better technique instead of going, because especially us men,
it's about
that mindset that he's doing something.
But then you just want to come out with hypertrophy.
Yeah.
You don't come out like, oh, I've suddenly got these really big muscles.
But there's a HIIT element too.
So the name Hiit Pilates came from because I actually am originally a PT. Right. I kind of did the PT training based on the fact that I knew I wanted to do Pilates. For me, sorry.
And just for our viewers and listeners that don't know what HIIT is, it's
high intensity interval training.
I've always wondered that.
Oh, really?
High intensity interval training.
So it doesn't really go very well with Pilates.
I was sitting there going,
where's the two eyes from?
I mean, this is the snobbery. I can imagine there's a few of my my Pilates people that probably frown. I mean, definitely my instructor trainer must look at me and go,
I didn't teach you that.
This isn't
it.
But I mean, like I think for branding, it's like kind of worked.
People ask the question.
And it has really worked. But I think of what happened was it originally was based around the fact that I was a personal trainer and a Pilates instructor, and I didn't want to just like knock out even though I feel like more drawn to Pilates because I understand how much like strength you can get from not having to beast yourself. Like you can get so strong. Like my strength was so much better from doing Pilates than there was from doing anything else. And also like even with weight loss and stuff, it's like I mean that's not really been what my issue, but it's amazing the amount of people that I see doing HIIT training over and over and over and over, and then nothing happens. And then all of a sudden they'll because they're stressing their body out, and then all of a sudden they'll start Pilates and they'll just concentrate on that, and they start to see a difference in themselves. And that's kind of what made me go, wow, this is, this is really unique and actually amazing because it's good for you, and you're not stressing your body out. And I think obviously diet as well is a really important aspect. Huge. You can't eat. What is it? You can't eat. You can't train your way out of a bad diet.
That makes sense.
Abs are made in the kitchen. But I mean, something like that. but it definitely comes from as well. Yeah. You don't need to beast yourself as much as people think they do. I think
that's the mindset that needs to change. I need to change that mindset
it's actually about loving your body rather than just completely caning it all the time.
I like that, loving your body, taking care of your body and just treating it well.
Absolutely. That's why stuff like this is really interests me, especially when
it's just down the road from you.
It's down the road, and especially at my age as well.
We are talking about old people liking Pilates. Sorry, Amar, I'm not calling you old.
It's cool, I don't mind that. I don't mind that. I know that I can't train like a, how I'm
24-year-old.
No, but I think what happens is as well, we become more mindful about the way we move, and actually that's it's
I'll start thinking to myself, I want to be still being able to move and still being supple if God blesses me with long life. When I'm in my 70s, I don't want to be struggling for mobility in your 70s. So the stuff you do today,
but that is all up to you, and it's the choices you make every day when you wake up, and you have to make good choices. I sound like your mother. Make good choices.
I don't know if I'm being told off it. Make good. I wake up in the morning. Make good choices.
He's sleeping in the middle of the night. Choices.
I can be your little Pilates voice of reason.
On my shoulder.
Oh god. Okay. So you mentioned in passing that you've tried a couple of things.
Yeah.
Before you landed on Pilates and said, this is the thing for me. So what other stuff you've tried in the past?
I don't discount any form of exercise, actually. I think that everything has its place. I I really advocate like sports that people like to enjoy. I think doing something that you love is really important. So if you find something like, for instance, you've got some people like love water sports, or they like getting on their skateboard, or, you know, if you find something that you like that's actually moving you, then do that. That's like,
because the end game needs to be healthy, isn't it?
Yeah. Like that's like that's gold, really. But then I think I'm practicing different stuff as well. Like I still do weights occasionally. I've got my housemate who is like obsessed with her weights and stuff. So I'm always like using her stuff. She's on some 6-pack challenge at the moment.
She?
I'm like,
okay,
sometimes I'm like, okay, I might join you on this today. Or I might just sit here and eat like some chocolate and watch you. I'm definitely not as on it as she is, but yeah, I mean, I like run occasionally. Like maybe I try and run like once or twice a week.
Wow.
But I don't like run. I'm more of a sprinter. It's more about my heart health than it is like long distance. And I think also you get to a certain age and you don't want to be like stressing your body as well, because your high cortisol levels can be aging. And obviously at my age, I'm starting to think, what are these things that I can do to slow this process down?
Little cheat codes, isn't it? Yeah.
And a big thank you to our sponsor, Chica Lounge, which is a lovely cocktail bar in Westcliff, Bournemouth, for those who like to have a good time and be home early by 1 a.m. With free parking, which is very rare for Bournemouth, they have something to suit your entertainment taste all week. From day parties to Latino nights to Afro beats and even quiz nights. This lovely venue is also available for private hire, as it's perfect for birthdays, networking meetings, social meetups, fitness classes and comedy shows. Check in at their website, chicalounge.co.uk, and their socials on Facebook and Instagram at Chica Lounge. And keeping us warm this winter, we have My Connected Home, who provide comprehensive domestic cover and finance for your boiler. We have to say thank you, as they're one of our dedicated sponsors supporting the show. And My Connected Home actually provides brand new efficient boilers with affordable monthly finance. And if you can't afford to buy one right now, that's okay, because subject to approval and credit checks, they'll provide one for you. Just get in touch at myconnectedhomeuk.com or call 0345 057 3057.
Okay, so if how long have you been doing Pilates? Let's put the studio. We're going to come back to the studio in a minute. Yeah. So how long have you been doing Pilates for yourself?
I've been practicing Pilates, I would say, probably since about 2011.
It's 11 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I did my training.
Sensei.
Yeah, I didn't do my training until I think I started my training in 2015. So I did my PT training first, in about, I think, 2012.
Well, I still working for JP Morgan at the same time, right?
So it was before I worked for JP Morgan.
All right, yeah.
Yeah. So I actually got divorced, and I was like, okay, what am I going to do now? Okay, now I need to I mean, I always worked. I was cabin crew, and my husband also had businesses, so I used to work with him as well. But yeah, when I got divorced, I was just like, right, you kind of just reevaluate everything, don't you? And okay, what do I want to do? And how, again, I really wanted to create a life that I didn't want to run away from. Yeah. I was sort of going, right, I definitely need to like the rest of my life. Yeah. That was really important.
You have to.
Yeah. And not feel
what you do, you never have to work a day.
Yeah, exactly. So I knew that I was really interested in nutrition, fitness, that sort of thing. So I just thought, well, I'll go and do a PT course initially. I know every Tom, Dick and Harry does one of those.
I know.
But I did a slightly longer one. I did it at the college, and I took the year to do both levels because I just wanted to digest it properly. Yeah. And I needed to do the physiology and the anatomy for doing my Pilates training.
Absolutely.
But the reason that I sort of was really focused on doing the Pilates is because I had a bit of a default in my spine. I haven't got a scoliosis, but I've definitely got a little, something going on there. And also I've got a little rotation in my pelvis, but probably from having children, because I've got three kids.
Definitely from having children.
Yeah, blame the kids. It's all their fault. Like, you don't know what you've done to me.
I used to
Be
fly.
grateful. Yeah.
Damn kids.
Yeah, exactly. So it was more about maintenance, really, but like the vanity and the maintenance.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's again, like, I knew that this was something that I needed to integrate into my life, and like it was a lifestyle choice. So I was like, I want to have all of this stuff in my life and not feel like I'm always working as well. Yeah. And my children were so like important to me as well. I knew I needed to be there for them. So I needed to sort of pick something that was going to work with the kids.
Yeah, that's good. And then obviously you'll open the studio, which will be 4 in January next year. Why did you pick Charming Star? It's a stupid question. Nothing against Charming Star, but it's like it just feels like
Charming Star picked me. So what happened was I was actually living down the bottom end, down towards like Queen's Park. Yeah. And actually my marital home was Gresham Road, so it was down, down by sort of Stroudon area, or
I lived in Charming
or the library area, that sort of area. So at the time I was there, and I was driving through and I saw the premises and it was empty, and so I was really unhappy. At the time I was working, so I'd gone in between doing my PT and did my training as a Pilates instructor, but I also then I was going through a pretty heavy divorce, and I went to work at JP Morgan's, sort of fund this. So sounds awful, but yeah, I was very, very unhappy at JP Morgan. I didn't enjoy it. I probably shouldn't keep saying JP Morgan.
It's not for it's not for everyone. There's some JP Morgan fans there as well.
A well-known bank.
That's with a J.
Available.
I think it might be a bit late now.
And the last name rhymes with Hogan.
We want our 10% JP Morgan for this advertising.
Who not to work for? I mean, there were some great people there, but it just wasn't for me. Anyway,
corporate.
It just wasn't for me. But I just saw this and I just thought, I wonder if I could make that a Pilates studio. Yeah. And it was quite small, but I checked it out, and I thought, I can fit 4 reformers in here, and that's all I need. I can manage that. Rent was cheap enough. So the good thing about that area is it's like obviously the rents are a little bit cheaper, and it was below rateable value, so I didn't have to worry about rates. So it was just. But
it's a good catchment area as well, because there's loads of good residential places around that little Charminster area going towards.
You've got that busy, and you've got the road. I mean, it's good.
Across it, So it's I think far end, like you go into you got the YMC, Slim. That's old school things. Slim fast classes.
No, you've got the Bournemouth Body Boot Camp, but it's not now, is it? It's Train Elite, which is my friends Zoe and Rob. Wow, okay. So Spencer had it before, and it was Fit Body Boot Camp. I actually worked there for a little while. And then Train Elite, Rob and Zoe took over and called it Train Elite, and then that's who I was doing the Pilates. Well, during the pandemic, I was doing the Pilates classes.
Wow!
But I also used to teach MetaFit there, because I obviously I'm trained to do all that sort of stuff as well.
What is
MetaFit? It's like that's proper HIIT training. It's like it's a bit like just like it's very sort of like it's they'll give you burpees to do for like a minute. And then,
SAS.
It's like die now.
And that is beastie.
You're not getting out of this alive.
And in terms of the classes that you have in the studio, I know you've mentioned about because you do. Should we call it mobile stuff as well, with the mat stuff, right?
So I don't actually offer. Well, our studio is too small, so we don't actually offer any mat or floor stuff. I mean, sometimes we'll get clients down and on the mat, but they will in between use the machines. But mostly they come in for reformer classes.
And do you do one-on-one sessions at clients' place if they can't come to you?
I mean, we do offer that. I have got a couple of clients that I do, usually sort of a little bit elderly that can't
advanced.
So I go sometimes. Some of my friends' mums I go and like see, and quite often they don't always want to do much, but they like to have a cup of tea and
it's
a chat.
It's the company, isn't it? That's it. Bless them.
But I always take the like little weights around and I get them to do certain things and that, and I just think it's I think half of that is like it's quite important just to like it's confidence, isn't it? Sometimes.
And the classes of the studio is the studio open 7 days a week or 5 days, 6 days?
So it's open at the moment 6 days. I threatened to open it on Sunday and did one Sunday, and I was like, oh, I don't want to do that again. But I'm actually in talks with another instructor that I know, and I was like, do you want to do a Sunday? Because I don't like working weekends.
I'm not really a Sunday person.
I mean, I think if I don't mind if I want to go and do a workout, but I don't want to feel like I'm going to work.
Have a day off.
And
recharge.
My weekends are quite important.
Yeah.
You know, it's quite nice to have that time where you can kind of wake up slow, drink coffee, go for a walk, go for brunch.
Ladies love brunch, isn't it? Yeah, brunch, isn't it?
It's like my favourite meal, brunch.
You say you're a personal trainer, and so did that incorporate the diet aspect of?
Yeah, do you know, I don't ever really look at myself as I don't like advising people on diet.
Right.
Because I'm not a qualified nutritionist, but I can.
I was going to ask you a question about that.
Some of my clients will sometimes ask me about diet, and I always say to them that they should maybe do a diary of their week and their food and be totally honest, and then I would sit down and chat with them through that.
Right.
But not as a qualified nutritionist, but just as a diet plan. And I can help like, you know, I can help them do a deficit, so we can see how much they're moving and how much food they need to be eating, and the types of food they're eating as well. You know, sometimes people just need to have a little honest chat with themselves.
Well, I might as well ask you this.
I'm not.
I might as well ask you this.
Chat with yourself, Omar.
I might as well ask you this as well, because it's to do with diet. So I nobody told me to do this. I wasn't prompted to do this, but about 8 weeks ago, I decided to tweak my diet a bit to do with the whole 2022 fitness thing, blah 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 that I've been going through. I love my meat. I make no apologies for it. Respect the vegans.
A carnivore.
I am a big one. And respect to the vegans and the vegetarians and stuff. But
I eat meat mostly. Fish,
but 8 weeks ago I changed my diet. No, I tweaked it. So instead of having bagels and bread or toast for breakfast, I now have salad.
Wow.
And literally, that's I still.
Are you hungry?
No. The thing is, I've always loved salad
all the time. I'm always hungry.
I've always loved salad. I think most people love. I've always loved salad, but it used to be like a supplementary, but with
I like salad, but I always used to. You know, when you go on holiday, you got the sometimes in hotels you'll have like a little buffet going on, and they offer you salad for breakfast. Like no.
So I just basically. So I just it's been 8 weeks now, going to the 9th week. So I tweaked it. So that's all I have now for breakfast. I obviously lunch or dinner. I go back to my usual.
Yeah.
We wanted to stop having bagels or thing for breakfast. I wanted to still have breakfast, but I come from what I never used to have breakfast because obviously what I do, I get up and my day starts.
Yeah.
So, but now I'm making myself. I'll thank the pandemic for that. So I'm having breakfast more, and I've kept it throughout the pandemic till now. But I just didn't want to have bread or bagels or stuff for breakfast anymore. I just wanted to have more greens. So that's why I'm never cold. Hey.
Greens are always good, aren't they?
I know. So I literally, I have big up P, who comes down on Sundays and does my salad prep for me. So literally, I just have this little pot of salad prep for 6 days.
You've got someone that actually preps your food.
I know, high class.
What can I say?
Wow.
I live alone. I'm a dude. So it's like,
which is why you should be very good at that sort of stuff yourself.
So shout out P for that.
I would say the salady thing though is it's not quite fasting, but because obviously it's food, but they do say like, you know, having like long fasting periods. So if you were like, say, to finish, like not have anything since 6 p.m. the night before and then go through till lunchtime the next day, that's really good for the body to actually be in that sort of state of fasting.
But I have noticed a difference. I have noticed a difference with that in the 8 weeks. I actually I feel lighter. I'm still 12 stone. But in terms of, maybe it's a mindset.
You don't need to lose weight though, do you?
I'm not trying to lose weight. I'm just trying not to have... I just consider bread and bagels heavy now. I just like...
it's a complex carb.
Yeah.
So and actually it's about I think you'll notice like your brain function better.
Yeah.
You'll be sharper.
Yeah. I just feel I feel positively different with that. And I've seen that to my mates in the WhatsApp. I said, dude, you need to try this. It might work differently for other people, but it's working for me. And nobody prompted me to do it. I just, you know, I like salad. I just want to have more of it. Best would have more of it and then swap it from not having bagels or toast, blah, 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 for breakfast, just have salad. And also, I've not even gone an extra step now. I have munchies at night. I've got a sweet tooth. I get that from my mum. Yeah. So instead of having biscuits or cake, I have salad now as well in the evenings as well. That's
a good one to have as well if you want, like, because I like sweet. Like I love chocolate, I love biscuits, I love like I'm like pastry. So I now make banana bread every week, like because my little boy also likes sweet stuff. So the banana bread I make is always like quite a healthy one. Like I'll make it with spelt or something like that, so it's gluten free. And then it's all made with like coconut oil. There's nothing bad in it. So that's always a good thing, like a snack. Or there are ways that you can make it, so it could be, definitely. But also the other thing is you can always do like a Greek yogurt with like seeds and nuts and fruit and stuff like that, and it feels honestly.
I don't like seeds and stuff.
No, well, you don't need to put that. You can put what you like. You can put honey in it. You can put, you know, like, but it's all natural stuff, and I think that's always quite a good sweet thing to have at night.
Okay, so I shouldn't have salad.
But also yogurt is protein as well. So.
That's true. It's again to do with the whole Operation 8-pack thing. Like, so if I keep having bread and bagels, then the 2 extra packs.
Listen, I knew a PT that would just look, when you mentioned bread, he'd look at you like you just slapped his mum.
Toast is the best though, isn't it? Toast with like loads of really nice butter is like the best thing in the world.
I love toast.
Yeah, I know. I like toast too. And I like peanut butter and jam on toast as well.
Stop it.
It's like the best.
If we're going to have bread or toast,
I purposely don't buy bread or sourdough because I know that I'll do a loaf in like 24 hours.
It's the thing, isn't it? It's insane.
Every now and again, I let myself.
But I feel good when I eat sourdough. I feel like I'm eating a little healthy. It's a healthy,
isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lie. I mean,
it is. It's just in the mind,
not
bro.
many of the sourdoughs are as good as a sourdough would profess to be.
Yeah. Okay, so we go back to the classes at the studio. Yeah. So it's open 6 days a week. You know, some gyms and some fitness places, they do start early at 6 o'clock in the morning. Are you one of those people? You don't look it.
I mean, cheeky. I have been.
You look like an 8 o'clock something.
No. Honestly, I do. I wake up about 5:30 most days.
Okay.
But
that's to do with the kids.
No, it's not. My children are older actually.
Right,
so 2 of them have left home. I've only got 1 at home.
All right. Leave home.
Yeah.
Mum
He's only 12. I'm not kicking him out yet.
That doesn't matter.
Leave home.
It's okay. Arthur, you're safe.
If you're old enough to answer back to mum, you're old enough to leave home. Only joking, bro.
No, I want him to stay with me.
Is he mummy's boy? Is he mummy's boy?
Yeah.
Oh, the other kid.
Don't go nowhere, mate. Don't go nowhere. Stay where you are. Stay where you are for as long as you can.
I tease my mum. I have 4 other siblings, and we tease my mum with that. It's like, who's the favorite? Because I used to be the favorite.
Yeah.
But then the last one is now the favorite, and he milks that. And we asked my mum, so mum was the favorite. I love you all the same. So mum, you're lying. You're lying. Just tell the truth.
Be honest.
It's okay. We understand.
Yeah. So we did start the 6 a.m. classes initially, but they weren't consistent. The clients weren't consistent, and in the end, I was just like, look, this is just pointless because I'm making all this effort.
Yeah.
Occasionally, I offer like some of my one-to-ones if they want to do early classes. Then I will. But rather not.
Occasionally or reluctantly.
Listen,
I told you she was a 6 a.m. person.
I would rather I usually get to the studio about 8ish.
Okay, that's decent.
And our first classes start around 9:30.
And what time does it finish? Like,
it depends on which day, but generally have a couple of classes and maybe do some one-to-ones, and then sometimes a lunchtime class, and then maybe some more one-to-ones. But I'm usually out of there by about 2:30.
See what I'm saying?
Do you do evening classes?
And we do offer. So I've got 5 other instructors that work.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Delegate.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it. Yeah.
So that I don't actually do evening classes at the moment. I used to full on do a lot of the hours, but I think I burnt myself out to teach it. There's only so much of the same thing, or not. It's not the same thing because you always make it different, but you definitely need to bounce off of other instructors. Go to other classes. And get re-inspired really. And so it's really important.
And variety is good as well. I mean, if you look at it from the, should we call them students? Having the same instructor all the time.
Clients,
No,
I'm like, here it's her again.
You're nice and that, but
I roll if you walk in.
the same voice all the time.
Sorry, you have me. And you get home and you're like, you just want to be me at home. You're like, don't talk to me. I've been talking all day. Just don't.
Oh wow! And so it's 6 days a week. So that is except Sunday.
Although we may be opening Sunday soon.
That's and any big plans for your 4th anniversary in January?
I think we're going to have a little party.
Oh, I'm there.
A Pilates party.
A Pilates party. Yeah, can you imagine?
Yeah.
January's a dead month. I've got January to look forward to.
Your mind is running wild now.
Is that a party or Pilates studio session?
No. I am going to do a big party. I think we should have a big party. So yeah.
Just throw me a map.
It may be December, maybe
Let me know.
January.
I'll give you a free DJ set.
Yeah.
That's a birthday
I need to find a
There we go.
that'd be cool.
Spot.
Thank you. That's cool.
Right,
find a spot to do it in. That's the thing.
Find a spot.
And also, it's obviously everyone gets so booked up in December, don't they?
Yeah.
And then everyone's on dry January. So it's like, come on, we got to get you out in December.
Maybe do it in January because, like I say, then it's like something to look forward to because January's always dead.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. And then all focus and attention will be on that.
Yeah.
Creates awareness for the brand as well.
Yeah.
There we go.
Maybe do that. So
yeah. We'll talk.
But I definitely want to check it out.
And in terms of how do people get in touch with you? In terms of social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok,
all of those places.
MySpace.
I haven't got a MySpace. I've got TikTok.
Friends with United. Can you tell us? Obviously, I know you tell us how to reach you.
Yeah, we have an Instagram page. Hiit Pilates is our handle.
HIIT Pilates, all one word. Yep.
Yeah.
We'll put that on the screen as well in the video.
Thank you.
Okay.
My TikTok is just my name. It's Sarah J. Hawkins.
And what about Facebook?
We have a Facebook page as well, and actually, there's my mobile number is on there if anyone wants to get in contact. But we also have a landline, so they can always leave a message. But you could
leave a landline. What's the landline number?
Oh, I couldn't tell you.
Oh no, it starts with 01202.
It does.
The rest is fine. But you have a website.
Google us.
You have a website.
We do have a website, and all the information is on our website,
Fantastic.
which is actually in the process of also being updated. But the website is fully working, and it's just not as nice as I'd like it to be at the moment.
Is it SEO standard and everything?
Yeah, no, it's good.
Okay, so right. So HIIT Pilates.com or .co.uk?
.co.uk.
Okay, and also the same thing, one word for Instagram.
Yep.
And Facebook, same?
Yep.
So Hiit Pilates on everything, as they say in the streets.
Pilates on everything.
And everything. But not on TikTok, though. That's different. You have to get to a certain
You have to know me.
Exactly.
I have got a Hiit Pilates TikTok, but I haven't actually used it yet. So
that man will tell you what to do with it. He should be a social media guy.
Yeah.
He's too busy. So, and if for more information about Pilates and Hiit as well, obviously Sarah herself, we'll put everything on the video if you're watching on video. But obviously, again, I'll say HIIT Pilates, all one word. It's in Bournemouth, Lower Charming Star, if you know Bournemouth well.